Hi, it's Abby at Learn to Live Project once again, back for a third video. I posted a post on Tumblr on a poll on my blog, and I asked you guys to choose a topic as to what you wanted me to talk about. And I had a few different things, but this week I want to talk about triggers and trigger warnings, because even though this wasn't what you guys asked me to talk about the most, I got a really interesting ask where one of my followers, they said that I should talk about triggers and not having trigger warnings out anymore because you can't blacklist life and you can't avoid certain things in life, and how there's not trigger warnings for real situations. Furthermore, you shouldn't be able to blacklist and trigger warning on social networking, since you're going to be triggered anyway. Why have it on social networking? I found this really interesting because it posed an interesting question. Will the trigger still be just as bad if it's just on a social network instead of on real life? And so I looked online and I looked at some different blogs and what other people were saying, and I got quite a few different opinions. Some people said that there should be a trigger warning and that it helps them avoid having to see photos that trigger their disorder or their life situations, so they don't have so much of an issue, so to speak, with what they see and how it affects them. And other people said that it is used almost in an incorrect way, that trigger warnings are overused and not actually helpful to people because they've become almost a joke. Like, trigger warning idiot here, and it'll have a picture of something, a pop culture icon that people don't like. And then other people had the same opinion as my follower, saying that if you can't have it in real life, you shouldn't have it on social networking because it's a moot point. And I'd like to kind of go over that and what my personal opinion is, because I find trigger warnings extremely helpful, and I've had people who have told me to use trigger warnings on my blog in the past, and I know that helps people. So this is just my opinion. You can think I'm wrong, you can think I'm a horrible person, or you can have your opinion and keep it to yourself, which is what I hope you'll do. Alright, so first I should probably talk about triggers for those of you who don't know what triggers are and are watching the videos more as a support thing for a friend and aren't actually suffering from a disorder yourself. Triggers is a situation or an image or some sort of thing, so to speak, that sets off a memory or a flashback back to your original trauma or your disorder that can affect your mental state negatively, and it can actually put you in a worse state as far as your recovery and your disorder goes. Most of the time it's things like thinspo, photos of skinny girls, calorie intakes from other people, photos of blades, knives, other people's cuts, images of people being forcibly taken. I can't name all of them because there's so many different things that people are going through right now. I'm just naming things off the top of my head. Here. If you're in an abusive home, it could be swearing, loud yelling. Because for me, this is something, because my parents used to fight a lot, and my husband, he can just barely raise his voice at me, and automatically I'm having a panic attack because I don't like people yelling. Even if they're yelling just to be talking loud and just goofing off, just loud noises bother me. Seeing other people doing self-injurious behavior, like I said, descriptions, pictures of violence or warfare for people like who are veterans and stuff, from war, pictures of corpses, skulls, skeleton, needles, describing one's disorder. A lot of these things set people off, and when they are in the midst of a disorder or recovery, it can send them right back to that place they were when they were in the worst of their disorder, and it's counterproductive, actually. I know when I was still self-injuring, if I saw pictures of people's cuts and scars, I would remember how it felt for me too, and it would make me want to. I'm like, wow, yeah, I remember that. I know what that feels like. That could make me feel better. I know that makes me feel better. And a lot of times there was no trigger warnings on there, and oftentimes if I saw trigger warning, I try to avoid it, and I find it helpful. Another thing is triggers oftentimes they can't be avoided, because I just kind of named the things that are on social networking, but when you're in the real life, You see slender girls all the time. You see scars all the time. Maybe they're not from self-injury, but people get hurt. It happens. And you'll see knives at grocery stores. You'll see many things that you could get yourself hurt on if you were suicidal or still are. There's countless ways that you could kill yourself, and I promise you, if you're not suicidal, and if you know someone that is, I promise you that person sees everything as a way out. And it's a trigger, because that's all they'll think about for the rest of the day. And you can't trigger warning these things, sure, but think of it like you can trip and fall on accident, just tripping over your feet, and you skin your knee on the concrete. Sure, that couldn't have been avoided, but when you get on a motorcycle later, you're not going to not wear a helmet because you're like, oh, well, I fell earlier and it happened, better not protect myself now. There's no sense in that. So if you can protect yourself in some situations, you should be able to handle the situations that just come at you and just deal with those rather than have to deal with all of them. You shouldn't just have to stop using social networking in order to avoid triggering posts just shouldn't be posted at all. Like, even if there's a warning, there's no good in it. There's no good in a post like that. The only thing it's doing is glorifying the disorder itself, and it's not a beautiful thing. It's not. So what I'm saying is, it's my opinion, trigger warnings are a good thing. It helps people, and it's a good thing right now. Even if you don't believe that's a good thing, even if he doesn't believe it's a good thing, even if Sarah Joe something or another doesn't think it's a good thing, I think it's a good thing, and there are people out there who it helps. And if you care, and I'm assuming you care since you're watching my video, you have some concern for people with disorders, and just be kind and warn people what you're posting before they have to see it, and you potentially ruin someone's day for the entire team. I'm not trying to be an asshole, I'm not trying to be a jerk and over-exaggerate. I'm not trying to cast you into the fiery pits of your blog. I'm just trying to give you a little insight into someone who had a disorder, and just knowing that these are triggers. They are things that will hurt us and hurt our mental state and maybe hinder our recovery and trigger a relapse. It's best if you just take a little bit of consideration, take 2 seconds to say trigger warning and what it would trigger. That's all you have to do, and it won't make your blog any less quality or your posts. Just be kind and put something in there for someone. Now that I'm done being a jerk and kind of tearing you apart, even if you did agree with me, have a good day, and do the poll at the top of my blog, or you can go down in the comments, which is what I feel like all of you are going to do, because nobody likes to follow me because I'm unpopular and awkward. But go down in the comments and tell me what you want me to talk about, and I'll do it in the future, if not next week. It's all in you guys' hands. All you have to do is tell me, and I'll generally do it. Have a good night, everybody, and I hope you liked the video. Bye.
To make you mine, stay with me.